co-host Tom Diller and our producer Joe Carreiro, who does all this wonderful work. And you've done a great job at improving the studio once more.
Once more, huh?
So those listeners who are joining us, who haven't been with us very long, the studio is surprisingly out in a deserty type area with deer and ostriches. A ostrich.
Now. A ostrich. Yeah, the other one. Rest in peace. Rip.
I think it would be. An ostrich.
An ostrich.
An ostrai.
Ostrai. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And other exotic animals. A peacock that likes to greet Tom with its tail.
You know what I woke up to this morning? My neighbor across the way calling me and saying there's a giant peacock in his yard. I'm like, well, you should, be happy about that.
Mm-hmm. It's good luck.
I had to go over there and walk my peacock home.
How do you do that?
A leash.
He's got a little leash. I literally went over there and called him, and he followed me all the way. It wasn't far, but he walks around. He's tame.
Now let's hear the peacock's call that you get.
Don't ask the peacock. You want to hear the peacock call? Okay, you ready? I'm going to do it real quiet.
They're very good.
Nice. How was that? Not bad, huh?
That is
now, when you
excellent.
hear the peacock, you're going to know that was good.
Okay.
Oh, I heard him. I heard him out there. He's got good hearing.
He's going to be part of the show.
So, interestingly enough, I started coming out here before he had some of these improvements. I mean, he had this nice man cave type deal, but it didn't have the extra cameras that he's
Did you notice the lighting featured on the photos now in the Bobcat?
All right, so you got extra lighting there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's now improved the lighting in here, which is nice. And as we talk tonight, he's going to get his cameras hooked up again. He only has
doing
one.
That as we speak.
Right.
They're all nicely numbered.
You don't have to do it right this second.
No, I want to.
But Joe built this facade type building out here after I started as well. It used to be just a square restroom out there.
Outhouse,
and now he's built it in. Well, it had plumbing. You can't really call it an outhouse.
Kind of a cowboy jungle gym.
Veronica, make sure you check out the bathroom before you leave.
I will.
It's a big feature out here.
I promise I will not leave without doing that.
We build it for women.
Thank you so much.
So the show continues to improve. We've had some good shows lately.
Absolutely.
Some good calls. Last week, I again said I would try to memorize the phone number, and I still haven't done it. I stay so busy during the week, Joe, but I ought to write it on my hand or something all week. But we invite you to call in throughout the show if you've got questions. We've got great things to talk about. Last week, we recorded at the Phoenix Convention Center.
The Home Buyer Seminar
Expo.
By Chicanos por la Casa, and we interviewed some of their executives, and I think they're ready to play tonight. So
yep, we're throw some
I can't wait to play them.
Last week
are we going to do it right now?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. But it was an interesting show last week because we came prepared to play them, and they wouldn't play, and so we had an open phone forum, and holy moly, we got some interesting calls.
It's funny because I showed my computer guy. I'm like, hey man, why won't these play? He goes, "What? You have a 2-year-old encode that stuff?" I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna repeat that. I'm not gonna repeat that. He's very.
Tom is not too.
That's right. You didn't record last week's show, did you? Because it was kind of funky.
Yes, I did.
We did some funky things on that show, and I'm not proud of some of the things I said. So, Anna Marie, I apologize for asking what you're wearing, even though I know that you're in Santan Valley, and it was probably overalls and pink slippers.
You got a problem with pink slippers?
So with
Sorry.
that,
Nothing wrong with pink slippers.
with Tom's great grace and articulate way of discussing topics, we're going to have him introduce our guest. And tell the listeners a little bit about our guest in studio.
Absolutely. I think I met Veronica maybe a couple years ago. A very successful individual and family of realtors, actually. It's family of realtors. Is that right to say?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. Sueño Realty over on the west side. I know you've opened a couple more branches. You can talk about that. But she's also an executive officer on the NAREB, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And we interviewed the president on the 28th at the Home Buyers event, which was Grace Sennert, who couldn't be here tonight. So,
let's
welcome.
Play that
Thank
clip.
you for coming. Yeah, let's play that clip after Veronica says hi, and let's officially welcome her aboard. So,
Santan Valley.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Thank
I didn't
you.
know it was going to be this fun. I would have came sooner.
It's a great
Thank you.
Isn't it a great studio?
It is a great studio. Very professional and just the goodies.
I was going to say, what's
goodies.
professional about this studio is I come in running. I wasn't late today. I guess I had 15 minutes, but I come in and I go right for the chips.
For the nachos.
That's right for the
fresh
nachos.
Best nacho cheese
I was
we
looking
found
for the
out
cheese
tonight.
balls. Where's the cheese balls I bought? They're gone.
You ate them all.
Brian Shank, the Shankster, ate them all.
He ate them. To bring some more out here because those are nice, healthy snacks before dinner.
I almost bought another one at Walmart. I saw they were $5.99, and I'm like, Mark's going to bring them in. I'll use that $6 for something else.
Funny. That's right. Because and I saw those same ones, and I almost grabbed them. I actually did, but I was in a hurry, and so I said, "No, I'll grab them later." So I should have just stopped and grabbed them. All right, let's start. Which interview did you say you want to start with first, Tom?
You know what? We might as well play Edward first, since he's the president.
Edmundo Hidalgo.
Edmundo. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Let's play that one. Enjoy this. It's a great live. Well, they were live when we
was
recorded
live. That's right.
All these people on the interview on this, they were all live.
They were live.
Let's see. Were all of them alive?
The 28th, they were all alive.
Are you sure?
They were back then, yep. So
that's
this is the
a
president
guarantee.
of CPLC, which is just a major corporation that does a lot of wonderful stuff, as you're going to hear. So let's cue that puppy up.
Por la casa, here we go.
Edmundo Hidalgo.
Wonderful folks, very committed, and they're truly professionals in their own trade. We have people that have a mortgage background, a real estate background, a marketing background, and it really takes folks from all types of background and knowledges to make not only an event like this successful, but also the process to acquire a home the easiest possible.
Right. That's one of the things that I was very surprised at, the scope of CPLC, the different organizations you have under your umbrella. It's amazing.
Well, CPLC has been serving Arizona for over 43 years. And a lot of people don't realize at the breadth of services that we offer all throughout Arizona. We have 34 different and distinct services, and we serve 25 cities all throughout Arizona. So we're really proud that we have the trust of all of our community, and we're just really blessed to be able to be part of this great state.
So what are some of the main things that you're teaching people today or offering today?
Well, today is all about trying to provide the information to eliminate some of the misnomers on buying a home. A lot of people still view it as a very complex process, but we know that when people are informed, when people are educated, and you provide them the information, then they have the ability to make those right choices. And so we have great partners with us from the lending community. We have great partners from the other municipalities. City of Phoenix is here, Peoria, Avondale. Our sister agencies like NHS is here. And so it really takes a village to be able to have success. And again, thank you guys for being here this morning and making this a great event.
It's certainly our pleasure. Tell us a little bit about the NSP 2 and 3 programs. I see that on all your signs. I certainly know a little bit about it, but tell us about what that is.
Well, the NSP program is a federal program that is trying to revitalize communities. So we recognize that a community like Maricopa County, Phoenix, was especially devastated with the number of foreclosures that we had in this market. And so the federal government, in their wisdom, decided to invest resources through Chicanos por la Causa to take some of those foreclosed homes and get them back in the hands of homeowners. So we're out there buying homes from HUD, from some of the lenders. We go in, we do an assessment, we do a total makeover so that when somebody gets into that home is livable, right? They're not having to worry about fixing the roof, fixing whatever.
Energy efficient.
Absolutely. Energy efficient appliances. And so that when somebody moves in, they're proud to make this their home. It's no longer a house. Now it is their home.
Right. That's outstanding.
Now, one of the things we're going to do is rebroadcast this throughout the week. So if somebody's listening to this on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, how would they get a hold of Chicanos por la Casa and find out about these programs?
They can call our main office, which is 602-257-0700, or very easily they can go to our website at www.cplc.org, cplc.org, and then just look at the right-hand corner for NSP, and you'll find all the properties that we have available. And again, we have properties all over the valley that people can, take a look and see what fits their budget and what fits their need.
Yeah, and whether they qualify for assistance as well that's available up to, in fact, some of the programs are up to $30,000. Is that what I saw?
That is correct. So depending on the person's eligibility and their need, we have a variety of funding sources Some, in the case of the city of Phoenix, who's providing up to $15,000. We have other programs that are a little bit more generous, and it all depends on the family's qualification. So, again, don't hesitate. Come out. Let's get you qualified. Let's see if we have a property that is just right for you. And again, help us help you. That's what Chicanos por la Causa is all about.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for having this event. Thank you so much for joining us on our program. And we look forward. We've done one program with Cece out in our studios, and we look forward to having more.
All right, that kind of faded out. I think the recording part of that had some fade outs at the end that were a little bit premature. But
wow,
Veronica,
that threw me off.
Yeah, it went kind of quick. Veronica, what relationship, if any, do you have with Chicanos por la Casa then? Any?
We were actually there at the event on Saturday. We had a booth at the event supporting the local real estate professionals that serve the Hispanic communities. That's the whole mission of NARUP, Arizona.
Do you work together in any way with, because I just don't know, with Chicanos por la Casa?
There's several opportunities that we've had to work with them, and that's why we were invited and we accepted a booth there. So yes, absolutely, because both of us have the same mission line and statement, which is creating sustainable home ownership for the people and the people that we serve.
All right, tell us more about your organization then.
Okay, so our mission is just that, creating sustainable home ownership by empowering the individuals who serve such communities. And we do this through several different methods. We do it through leadership, advocacy, education, and we also do it through community outreach. So one of the things that we do at NARUP, Arizona, our chapter is a local chapter of the national organization, and something that we do as community outreach, and which was just started last year, is a run. We do a 10K run, and what that is we raise money and funds, and we donate it back to our communities. Last year, we actually donated some of that money to Trevor Brown High School, which is a high school that is in high need for help. Some of the athletes there on their run team, they are excellent athletes, but they didn't have the money to buy themselves even shoes. So what we did is we donated the money and bought them all shoes. Those are some of the things that we're doing.
And you're made up of a group of brokers, also real estate agents?
Real estate agents. Most of our members are actually real estate agents. It's about 80% real estate agents, and we have affiliate members as well, which are all from all over aspects of the real estate community.
So you don't have to be a broker, because it's National Association of Hispanic Real Estate
Professionals.
Oh, professionals, not brokers.
Right. I happen to be a member myself,
yes.
So title companies are in there, and
so
guarantee title.
Clearly, you don't have to be Hispanic either.
No, I don't know. What are you saying? Are you? I'm not sure what I am. So you want to talk about that?
Yes. What are you, Tom?
I know you're a pro wrestler.
Idea. I'm a pro wrestler. That's what I am now.
Well, I don't believe you're Hispanic.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am not. I think we talked about this a long time ago. My dad is German Norwegian.
Yes, as you can see that in your eyes, I'm sure.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
somewhere.
my eyes look German, and my mom is Japanese and Portuguese, so I'm a mutt.
Oh, this is definitely radio worth watching.
Right.
If you guys are listening without watching, you need to go to your computers and click a button and do a close-up on Tom.
Hey, you see what they'll see?
That's right. That's why I get all my fan mail, because of the close-ups. So
is that what happens?
So I get some more mail, please. Yeah.
No, but that's actually one of the most common questions that we get. Do I have to be a Hispanic to be part of your chapter? Absolutely not. A lot of our members are not Hispanic, including some of our board members that are currently being part of this organization. So no, it's basically if you're passionate about making a difference within your communities. How do we do that? With education, empowering every one of our members by being able to watch the shifts. Real estate is a cyclical market.
It is indeed.
So
cyclical,
we've got to we take great pride in being able to provide those opportunities and being able to show our members how these shifts happen and how they can empower themselves and grow their businesses. One of the biggest things that we've done recently is we've become an accredited real estate school too. So we are now an accredited. We can offer CE classes, and we've done so in the first part of this year. We've offered since January classes with HUD, with BLB Resources, who came down and did a class with us. We've also done a class with Freddie Mac. We had Lauren Field who came and was our guest speaker. We've done trustee sale CE classes. So what we're trying to do with the actual school is create cutting edge opportunities. We've noticed that a lot of the CE classes out there are either the same old, or things that really are not empowering or not helping the members that we currently serve. So that's our goal with the school in itself.
You also have members who are not real estate professionals,
yes.
Clearly, because we've got Tom, who's in affiliate. Well, you're affiliated You're affiliated with real estate, but you're not a real estate.
We just took him in. We just took him in.
Exactly.
But again, you're a title company, which is
Right.
affiliated.
Right, we're an affiliate, yeah.
But you're not actually a real estate agent.
No, I'm not. No, and you're right. There's professionals that are in there that they could be investors. I mean, the folks that aren't agents themselves. There's lenders that are in the organization, and we're there because we care about our community. As you know, Guarantee Title Agency is a family-run business that's here in Arizona. So for us, part of my job as the marketing, whatever my title is, senior vice president. I belong to several what I consider to be the higher-end associations, and one of them being Veronica's group. I think I'm involved in 2 or 3, and there's probably several dozen of these associations out there. So, tremendous group. And I know you brought some notes there about the Hispanic market, and we kind of wanted to touch on that a bit.
Well, and I know Gray. Before we get to that, I know Gray invited me, and I think I'll join.
right.
I just need to have time to even.
I have a membership
agree.
in my purse. If you
So
want,
there
I'll
goes the
sign you
time.
up
We'll do it.
today.
She's
She's got a credit card
I
slider
got
and
a
everything
credit
right
card
there.
slider. I
Right
got
there
you.
for us.
I got you.
But I think Gray's gonna have me record a bunch of shows for her.
Absolutely.
That way. So what do we got member-wise? Do you have statistics on how many Hispanics we have in the Valley, or what do you got there?
Absolutely. So what National does is they put out a report every year. 2011 was the last time it came out. It's called the State of Hispanic Homeownership. And what that is it's a snapshot of what is going on and the trends and things that are going to be happening within the next few years. Again, to better prepare the real estate professionals serving our communities out there. Some of the surprising stats that I brought with me, and I'll read them very slowly because it does make an impact as you hear the numbers.
I thought she was going to say
Because of Mark's here, you read them slowly.
That's right. I'm going to read them very slowly.
We need a chalkboard to write up the numbers for Mark, too.
I looked right on Mark when I said that,
Yes,
right?
you did.
All that nacho cheese.
All right, let's hear some
All right,
statistics.
so population-wise, 42.7 million.
In the United States?
42.7 million.
In the United States.
The estimated Hispanic population of the United States as of July 1st, 2005. That's as of 2005. Making people of Hispanic origin the nation's largest ethnic or race and minority. Hispanics constitute 14% of the nation's total population, and this does not even include the 3.9 million residents of Puerto Rico. So that was back in 2005. About 1 of every 2 people added to the nation's population between 2004 and 2005 were Hispanic, and 3.3% increase in the Hispanic population between 2004 and 2005. The projected Hispanic population as of July 1st, 2050 will be 102.6 million.
Do they count half Hispanics? Because my kids, my wife's Hispanic, but my kids would be half Portuguese and half Hispanic.
And they get half a number.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
They both add up to 1.
They both
Felina
both of them
and JoJo add
together
up to 1.
become 1. So
There
that
you
makes
go.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it works.
When she
Tom
gave
just
the
figured
first
it out.
number, I thought she meant just Pinal County.
No.
I'm like, wow, 42.5 million.
There's only like 1,000 people in
And they're all
Santan Valley.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're all right out there.
And that's just population. I mean, we haven't even hit like purchase power. The Hispanic purchasing power increased over $865 billion in 2007.
Wow.
The growth rate for Hispanic purchasing power of 8.6% is the highest of all minorities, any and all minorities out there, and is over 2.5 times greater than 175% projected for whites.
Okay, use the word minority. What is there somewhere in there? I'm curious to see this. Maybe we can Google it. When the Hispanics are no longer the minority. I mean, people like
I'm the minority.
the pasty
now.
white Mark Windsor over
Yes.
here is the minority.
He's going to be doing
And I
this
meant
all-
that
white
in a
guys.
nice way.
And you know what?
I meant
Look at
that in a
him
really
with,
nice
with
way.
the new lighting shining on his face.
Yeah,
he's
he's
looking
even
whiter
more
than you,
pastier
Mark.
white.
I
Yeah.
can kind of see it across on that screen.
Wait, he's looking like a CPA now. He
but
sits
what-
in the back room.
that is
Oh, God.
Oh, now that's a low blow.
I'm sorry.
You could have called me a lot of things, but you
Wow.
had to call
So
me a
in 10
CPA.
years, you're going to be coming and doing
Next
this
is-
show and doing the minority.
Next, he's going to be
Yeah.
calling me an attorney.
That's just going to be
right.
asking you what you're wearing.
I was just going to say,
That's when I call him up later on tonight. Mark, what are you wearing now?
Yeah, right.
Yes, tonight, later.
That's right.
I can see actually a glow around me as if I'm an angel or something. So,
Oh, wow.
But you got something in front. What is
I
that?
saw
on
that. I
this
don't know.
one?
Pop up over there. Pop
Over
up.
up on this side.
Is that a
So
globe?
the crowd's not
No,
seeing
no.
that
That's
thing.
just the computer there.
All right.
We are in
So
the middle of nowhere, so.
That is true.
Right.
This is going to interest you, actually, with the Hispanic clientele and the Hispanic focus. My law firm is actually Winsor and Diller.
Oh, okay.
And we have certainly over 50% of our clientele
Absolutely.
is a Hispanic descent. Most of them, Spanish is their, most of those 50%, Spanish is their primary language in the home. And
Yeah, now back to that, my comment about the minority. Is there some numbers in there that show maybe in the state of Arizona or New Mexico or something, or Texas, where there happens to be probably a higher population of Hispanics. When is there a turning point that's being predicted?
I don't have that in itself just yet, but yes, you're right. Some of the states that are mostly populated by Hispanic, or the top 12 states, are Arizona, California, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Georgia.
So those purple states right there.
The blue states, yeah, it's blue.
Man, it's just pick on Mark day.
It's blue, Mark.
Well, nobody would have known that without her pointing it out.
Right?
It's blue.
Yes.
My daughter, even last night, her lights are off as I'm tucking her in, right? So you hardly can see just from the hallway. And I made some comment about a color of something in her room, and she says, "Dad, it's not that color. Are you colorblind?" "No, it's dark." But he's got new lights, so maybe I'm colorblind. So do you have Arizona numbers? How many Hispanic descent how many of Hispanic descent do we have in Arizona?
I don't have specific numbers for each of the states. I have the 12 numbers, and this all came from this report. Because this is a national report, it's not specific to any particular state.
Because it's grown in Arizona.
It has tremendously. Joe, did you give out the number? It's like 480...
480-745-1033.
Well, did you turn on the phone? He turned the phones off. So give it one more time if you'd like to call and you have any questions.
There you go.
I'm ready. Give the number again.
Can't you bend your neck around there?
No, I can't.
480. I'm going to put a sticker on the side for you. 480-745-1033 if you'd like to call in. Or jump on the chat.
If you'd
jump
like
on the chat, too.
If you'd like to call in and stick up for Mark Winsor, call now. And
let's take a vote for free tickets to dinner somewhere. Does he look more like a pasty white CPA or an attorney?
or a very friendly talk show host?
There you go.
And that's got to be a third option. Or certainly not all the above. I'm not. I don't look.
You're not. It's the lights. It's Joe's fault. It's Joe's fault.
Hey, by the way, I didn't mean to offend all the CPAs out there.
Neither did I.
You guys are just offending everyone left and right.
That's exactly right.
My name is Joe.
Yeah, no, it's not.
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, we talked about purchasing power. Before
Yes.
we talk much about their home ownership, I want you to find Joe. I want you to find Rafael Tirado's interview that we did.
Got it right in front of me.
Rafael Tirado is my partner.
Okay.
He's licensed to practice law both in Arizona and in Mexico, and he gave an interesting little interview at that Home Expo at the Phoenix Convention Center last week. Let's play that one.
Let's check it out.
Go ahead and leave our mics on in case we have comments during it.
Rafael Tirado?
Oh, you can't even roll your...
Never mind.
Tirado. Rafael Tirado.
Back to the Home Expo in Phoenix, Arizona, and our guest now is Rafael Tirado with Winsor and Tirado, my partner. And Tom Diller, of course, my co-host. Welcome to the Mark Winsor Show. Welcome, Rafael.
Hello, Mark. Hi, how are you?
It's kind of a fun little event, isn't it?
It is.
And Rafael has a wonderful practice. In fact, what's unique about Rafael's practice is he's licensed both in Arizona and Mexico.
I don't think I've heard that before. That's great.
So if somebody's buying a home and they also want to invest in either Mexico property or somebody who lives in Mexico that wants to buy a home here, Rafael is uniquely situated to help with both situations.
That is correct, Mark. We have helped U.S. buyers to buy home in Rocky Point and in other parts in Mexico, or Mexico buyers to buy properties in the U.S. as well.
Here's a question that, since you said Mexico and you said Rocky Point, are there short sales in Rocky Point? Does that happen, or does that not as such a thing over there?
It happens, but you have to negotiate with the banks directly. And home ownership for U.S. buyers in Mexico is a little bit different. You got to create a trust first or a Mexican corporation in order to
right, the trust, yeah.
Now, what's also very, very interesting is if somebody wants to gain residency here, aren't there some immigration things in buying homes they need to worry about?
Well, not at all. Actually, immigration status has nothing to do with home ownership. Actually, as long as you're an individual, you can buy property in the U.S. Actually, and that's a misconception.
Oh, that is. I didn't even know that. So if somebody is here illegally, they can still purchase property?
Absolutely. When it comes to mortgages and loans, you need to have a valid Social Security number. But home ownership has nothing to do with an immigration status.
Oh, so you're talking about somebody buying with cash?
That is correct. Buying with cash
or owner carry, right?
Or even accessing to a credit. You can also access to a credit as long as you have a valid Social Security number. Just bear in mind that many people used to have a legal status, and they fell out of status for many reasons, and they still have a Social Security number. They can still access to credit as long as the Social Security number is valid.
Like if somebody's here on a temporary work visa or something like that, and they overstay their visa, they're technically illegal, but they still have a valid Social Security number.
That is correct. They can access to credit and purchase
and
a
nothing
property.
stops the home process whatsoever in that scenario?
No, as long as the Social Security number is a valid one, as long as they are not committing a fraud in the mortgage process, they can purchase the property.
Oh, that's good. People don't know that.
I didn't know that at all. So
that's
how he bought.
Which means they could also, if somebody did that before, they could also short sell.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, there'd be no reason why not then. If they could legally buy, they could legally short sell as well.
That is correct.
And you do some radio shows as well. What stations are you on?
The 11:90 a.m.
11:90 a.m. And when are you broadcasting?
Monday at 11 a.m., Tuesday at 3, Thursday at 9 a.m., no, 11 a.m., I'm sorry, and Thursday at 3 p.m.
I'm going to show photos
in our
while we're doing
practice,
this.
we do, if you're buying a home, we can review the contracts and help you with that. If you're buying through a short sale, we can help. If you're buying an owner carryback, we can help with that. What other things we do? A lot of immigration, all kinds of immigration, right?
We do deportation defense, we do bond hearings, we do naturalization, and we also do criminal law and DUI as well.
And also employers who want to bring over workers from some other country.
That is correct. Many visas for professionals, especially the DN and the H-1B.
Is that still happening?
Yes, absolutely. A lot.
Hey, get a picture of
Isn't there
Rafael.
a challenge, or there used to be, wasn't there a challenge before of not having it, you had to, because as I recall, a couple of years ago,
That's my grandson.
you'd tell me that, we'd have an employer would be trying to get their employees in, and then the government would run out of number of visas.
That is correct. That's a challenge. And for example, the H-1B visa, there's only 65,000, and they run out very quickly. But it is not happening this year. There's still plenty of H-1B visas out there.
Thank you for that.
It's 65,000 H. So actually, nationwide. And not in these days, the USCIS has approved only like a 2,000 or so. So there's still plenty of H-1B visas.
All right, wonderful. This is Rafael Tirado. Tom, you have any other questions?
Although those pictures are not Rafael.
Yeah, it is very, very cool, actually.
Not
we
one
need
of
to
those
have him on our
pictures.
Tonight
Rafael.
show because I think we can talk at least for an hour on this stuff.
Oh, yeah. And we also, as a firm, do bankruptcy. We do business law. It's a great firm. And you're right. Just on the immigration stuff, we could talk for an hour easily.
Yeah.
In fact, now that we've got this equipment, we can
Tom.
go right to his Phoenix office and do it right down the
Looking
hallway.
pretty cool.
No more
He's a
driving to
natural.
Santan Valley? Come on now. I love that drive.
And that must be me right there.
I got to tell you
No,
one
that's
thing.
not
If you're
me.
looking at the pictures up there, my headset matches my shirt. I mean, that's
Wow.
how
I mean,
cool.
This is style.
That is
And look,
how you roll.
and my socks were that color too. So
Wow.
Are you sitting by Charles
You're just
Barkley?
on top
or
of
who is
it.
that?
That's the
that's
Hispanic Charles
Winston
Barkley.
Tees Jr. Very, very prolific
He's
realtor.
not Hispanic.
I really
No,
thought it was
no.
Charles Barkley, Hispanic
Yeah.
version.
He's not Hispanic.
What is he?
That guy's not
Filipino?
No.
What?
African American.
What?
Hello.
I don't know. I'm
You'll-
colorblind.
We have several members as part of NARP AZ that are blonde, blue-eyed, and they are Hispanic.
From Spain.
No, from
What?
Mexico, yes. Our membership director, Lizzie.
Can you send him in?
What? Lizzie is Hispanic?
Yes, she is, and she speaks fluent Spanish.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
she's absolutely
Gail,
gorgeous. too.
Gail is Hispanic.
I never knew Gail was Hispanic.
and she's blonde.
Tom, you may be
Oh
the only
my
one that's
God.
not
She'd get
Hispanic.
along. You know what?
no,
She'd
I'm the only
probably-
one that looks Hispanic. That's not Hispanic. over
Right?
there.
You
Yeah.
play it good. You play it good.
She'd get
right.
along good with my wife, I think.
Why is that?
Now she looks Portuguese. Is she,
My wife?
Yeah.
Is Hispanic.
Oh, she's from Costa Rica.
Right. That's where. From the beach.
From the beach at Costa
Right.
the beach.
right.
No, where is she from then?
She's from East L.A.
From
I think
East
she was born in a milk crate, something like that. The real bad area.
Where do her
You're not getting
roots-
dinner tonight.
Where do her roots come from?
East L.A.
They've got, if she's Hispanic,
Somewhere in
eventually-
Mexico, I'm pretty
We're gonna say
sure.
Mexico. That's a good answer, Mexico. Because Hispanic doesn't mean Mexico.
It does not.
Did you really think that?
Yeah. I don't know.
No,
what?
you did not.
I have no idea. Okay.
There's-
Hispanic. Does
I need
not
to
mean-
teach my kids this. They're half
You do
Hispanic,
need
so
to teach
educate
them
me,
this.
please.
Yeah, there's Cuba. There's several other places.
Texas.
Cubans are Hispanic.
You're gonna
Cubans
get in
are
trouble.
Hispanic?
Just stop there. You're gonna get in trouble. Too.
I didn't know that.
Joe,
You know what?
Joe. So we're going to have a show dedicated
Killing
to
me.
education.
I think so.
Educating Joe about minorities.
Thank God I'm not on camera right now.
And there we go.
My name's Tom Diller.
And you're a handsome
And
devil.
you guys
Yeah,
matched
nice.
tonight. Is all I'm saying.
I know.
All right. Now we heard we heard some interesting information from Rafael that if somebody's here illegally, as long as they have a valid Social Security number, they can get a loan for a house. as long as they have a name and they're an individual. They don't even have to.
Let's talk about that again. So, as a realtor, is there anything illegal about that? Because when you start the phrase with, or the conversation with, he's illegal, doesn't the whole process become illegal? And forgive me, I don't, because when it comes to immigration, I'm totally opposite of some of the other folks that are out there. But let's talk about the real estate transaction itself. If they're illegal, is the transaction going to be illegal?
No. Because they're not buying it illegal. They're just here illegally. That's two different concepts.
I don't even understand at that level.
All right, let's say
if they're illegal, how do they have a Social Security number that's valid?
Okay, first of all, let's say to purchase a house, you don't have to have a Social Security number. So let's start with that premise. For example, does a corporation have a Social Security number?
Yes.
No, it does not.
No?
They have an EIN.
Number.
Oh,
EIN,
okay.
Employer identification.
But they have something that the government or the city or a municipality provided to them. In order to get that, they probably had to show some kind of documentation.
They did. So let's take a corporation that is formed in another jurisdiction.
Mexico.
Okay. They can buy property here.
Sure.
So if an individual, let's say somebody calls me up from Canada, which we get that. We get
all the time. So all the time.
Let's say it's Anne Murray.
Canadians don't have a United States Social Security number.
Right.
But they buy property all the time.
All the time.
But are they here legally?
They're not here. They're not here.
illegally?
They call us up on the phone. They don't step foot here. They buy rental properties that other people live in. So they call us up and say, I got some bucks. You have property.
But let's say when they come over here, though.
Let's
when
say
they're
they
here,
never do. They can buy a house with that. You
sure,
don't have to
sure,
come here to buy a house.
Sure.
You
But
don't.
let's. No, I understand. But let's say they're here. They take the bus. They fly over here. They take the boat. They do whatever. But they're here, and they want to buy property. What's the step of the process? Do they have to have a valid visa, a dual citizenship? What do they have to have in the United States to purchase? I guess that's my question.
They have to have a signature and money. So let's say they come with
money makes the world go around.
Yeah. Let's say that they contact somebody who owns a house who's willing to sell it on contract. Let's just take that, right? So a United States citizen owns a house, and they're willing to sell it on a contract that somebody gives them, $5,000 down and $1,000 a month. Okay. And the Canadian calls them up on the phone and says, I'll take that deal. I'll send you a cashier's check or whatever for $5,000, and then I'll send you $1,000 every month. Yeah, they can do that.
This is the next internet scam.
Well, no, wait. Let's start with this then. Let's in our vocabulary vocabulary. Let's remove the word illegal then, because if they're purchasing, whether they're Canadians, Mexicans, Japanese, Chinese, Koreans, or whatever, they're buying. Yeah, anything. Yeah, they're buying. So why is it when we speak of the Hispanic population that we say it's illegal? So again, I'm just being the little devil's advocate here because that's the way the conversation started.
Yeah.
So I want to remove that because, as some of you may know, I'm married to a Hispanic person, female.
Let's use the Canadians.
Yeah.
Let's say this Canadian guy still wanted to buy the house, but he wanted to inspect it first. But he doesn't want to go through getting a passport and visa and all that kind of stuff. So he just sneaks across the border without getting any permission. No passport, no visa, no permission. Just sneaks across the border and comes on in. He's technically here illegal because he didn't get his little stamp.
Right. But what you're saying is the attorney, with your attorney hat on, he's not. The transaction is not illegal.
That's right. He's here
regardless
illegally.
of anybody's status, Hispanic, Korean, Chinese, whatever. The purchase is valid.
That is correct.
Okay, so that's the point I was trying to make 20 minutes ago.
That's correct.
So we're good?
I'm okay.
Do you want some exceptions to that?
Yes, please. Give us the exceptions of that.
If in any part of the process he's required to be legal, so let's say the seller says, I'm not going to sell to you unless you produce me papers that you're here legally. Sellers can put whatever, right? Can a seller put whatever conditions they want in contingency? So let's say a seller does that. And then he just goes in the back room with his little computer and creates false ones. See, that's a different story.
That's fraud. That's defrauding.
Yeah.
Now, what about the money issue?
But then the transaction's not good, right?
No, I understand.
Yeah,
because there's fraud to begin with. So let's say at the very beginning they're not going to do a loan; they're going to pay by cash. Isn't there any kind of seasoning requirements? I mean, in the United States, isn't anything over $10,000 have to be tracked or something like that? I mean, if
not when there's a bank out there that's doing this type of financing already, and they have specific processors that know how to read several tax returns from other countries, know how to read that type of documentation.
But when it's cash, does it have to be seasoned in a bank here, or no?
If it's cash, it's cash.
Yeah, there's rules of declaring how much money you bring across the border, and
I guess that's what I was trying to bring. So in my mind, I was thinking of declaring the money. So can you go to Germany with a wallet or suitcases full of $500,000 bills or whatever and buy a house over there.
Without being questioned.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Can you do that? So why can you do
Wow.
that here?
Well,
I know. I'm
at
all
NARA,
these questions.
At NARA, Arizona, we typically don't deal with this type of conversation. It's really because the Hispanic community is growing exponentially already here that we need to be able to train our members, those that serve those type of communities.
But here's where we will deal with it with NAREB. If a person is here illegally, which, again, we may as well admit that many of those who are here illegally happen to be from Mexico or further south, just because the border's so close.
Okay.
So we have substantially more of those who are here illegally. It's not just Hispanic, the Hispanics, but there's more of them because the border's closer, right?
Right.
So we're not going to get a lot of them from Europe sneaking over because they got a whole ocean to cross. But we got a lot of them from Mexico. We all know that. So you're going to run across those who are here illegally. Either they snuck across the border or they came on a legal visa for a short period of time and they overstayed their stay. And the question came up, all right, that person, can they buy real estate? Answer, yes.
There's your answer.
Then there's another question, can they get a loan? Well, there you must have a Social Security number. So if you just snuck across, you're probably not going to have one. Or if you have one, it's not
yours.
That's right. It's not yours, which means you're committing a fraud again if you buy with the wrong Social Security number. But if you came over on a student visa or whatever and you applied for a Social Security number and got one, and then you stayed too long, you're still illegal, but you have a valid Social Security number. You can get a loan.
Sure, and don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I mean, to me, in commerce, any kind of buying and selling is a good thing. So when that's happening, it's a good thing. Except for the one scenario you brought up where somebody was defrauding somebody.
Sure.
So other than that, green is green, money is money, gold is gold. Let's buy and sell.
Right, and you have to understand that as a realtor, you know, when I have somebody calling me to buy a house, my first question is not going to be, "Are you illegal?"
Sure.
You know, that's just not.
Yeah.
You don't
Is it your third question?
That's it's your
It's
third.
not-
It's the fifth. Well, that's my
that's
point.
a stereotype that needs to be taken because
Exactly. That's why I said let's remove that from there because it's not an illegal transaction.
Absolutely.
It skews, it taints the whole thing,
Well,
and I don't like that.
And one of the stats from the purchase power from this report is saying that the purchase power of Hispanics is growing bigger to all those that are making more than $75,000 a year than less. So the new caliber of Hispanic families that we're going to be helping is going to be completely different. It's going to change very, very rapidly.
right.
And that's why our law firm focuses so heavily on the Hispanic market, by the way. But let's take it this one step further. If they received a loan, right, then it needs to be asked if they're going to get a loan in that purchase. So we as attorneys do ask.
You do.
We do ask. Because we know that if they're going to get a loan in that transaction, there's going to be a question from the mortgage company, provide your Social Security number, and if they're going to give a false one, then that's fraud. So
Can you get a hard money loan? Can you get loans that's not backed by Fannie Freddie?
I am unaware of anybody who will loan anybody else money without a Social Security number. There may be some moron out there that'll do it, but that's
But then
foolish.
we get back into the same problems that we've been having.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, here's what we do see as a law firm, and you see it, but you just don't know you see it. When they come later to short sell their home, right? So they got a loan earlier on with a fake Social Security number, and then they go to short sell it. That can present some problems.
Okay. To me, if they're short selling, they really want to get out of the property kind of an honorable way instead of just walking. So what are the issues at that point?
They're again going to sign paperwork to short sell it, and they're going to have they're again going to put their identity out there again,
Gotcha.
and just raise red flags of being caught
Gotcha.
of being illegal.
So imagine being caught in that predicament where you're trying to do the right thing and
I've had
trying
that.
not to foreclose,
Yeah.
but yet you're trying to go ahead and do the short sell. So what do you do then?
Yeah, it's tough. They
It
have
is
to
tough.
make a decision, but we've had that with commercial buildings, residential buildings. We've had it where they're
Builders.
And let me tell you, I think the Hispanic market has been more affected than any other market out there with everything in foreclosures. There was the horrible incident, and I was at the national conference last year, where basically when you meet a Hispanic family, they all come into the room with you, and it's all
Yes.
of them at the title company. It's more
Yes,
than
at our law firm as well.
Not all the time, but some
Many
Hispanic
times.
families that I deal with. So there was a case in particular where the parents were losing their home, and the young child was the one that had translated all the docs for the family. Well, the child was mortified because the parents just could not see themselves losing a home. This was their dream, and they're losing it. So the child actually committed suicide.
Oh my
so
gosh.
these are the things
terrible.
these are the challenges that we're up against. Yes, the economy is getting better. Yes, it is definitely a first-time home buyer market. Yes, right now is the time to buy because it's cheaper than to rent. But these are the after effects, and these are the things that as an organization, NARAP-AZ, that we want to empower our members with, because we are going to be faced with even more problems. The reason that we picked Trevor Brown High School to donate those shoes is because you don't see the full effects of the foreclosure until you're actually within those communities. Marival, you see a lot of the families that are breaking up right now, a lot of kids that really don't know what the whole foreclosure process is. You have to understand the Hispanic market does not go out and talk to the real estate professional right away because they've already feel that maybe they can't trust them. So who do they go to? They go to their neighbor. Their neighbor may not know the right details, and then this is how things just continue to escalate.
Yeah, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. So if anybody out there
Absolutely.
listening that's in trouble, call Veronica or Mark. I mean, there's really nothing to be ashamed about.
No.
It's happening to everybody, good people, bad people, all alike. It's not a good thing, and nobody likes to see that happen.
But that's the American dream.
Yeah,
And when you take the
yeah.
American dream from someone who
Sure,
worked so hard
it's
to
not
get
easy.
there, and maybe they didn't understand, maybe they should have been more educated at the closing table, maybe they were victims of fraudulent
Right,
activities.
right.
That's not the point. The point is, how
Sure.
do we resolve this? And we
Right,
resolve this by
right.
empowering the professionals that serve those communities. That's why we're here as an organization.
I'm going to take a little tidbit of what she said a second ago, and I know that's not the point, but I want to bring up, since we have an attorney sitting here, where the child is translating. Can you talk a little bit to that? We're going to say the child was 12 years old. I'm just making that up. The child was not of legal age. Again, I don't want to use that word, legal, illegal. 12 years
Why?
old.
By the way, why?
Okay,
Why do you?
12 years old.
But you
in
can use the
translating.
term legal and illegal, by the way.
Contract-wise, okay, illegal to sign contracts, but translating for somebody that's an adult. Are there issues in
Ooh.
that? Is that
That's
contract
quite a
now
gray area.
void because the people signing it obviously did not know what they're signing except for what a person was translating that may not be translating verbatim, which is what a 50-page contract is. You got to read it verbatim.
That is a good question.
That is.
I don't know if there's a black and white answer, but I can give you some guidance on it. I do not personally believe the entire contract would be void merely because the translation may not be perfect. I think what the judge would instead do, or a jury, but I think what they would do is instead interpret the contract more in the favor of the disadvantaged party to the contract, the one who was in a position to not understand. I think they would say, because we have that even with, we've had a lot of lawsuits over boilerplate language over the years, that if you have a contract and you just sign it and it's 20 pages long and you're somewhat unsophisticated, but the person creating the contract is a bank or some other institution that's very sophisticated, they'll interpret the contract more towards the unsophisticated one and lean that direction when making their ruling on who understood what parts of the contract. Okay? I think they would just do it that same way. Now, a couple of things that did come up. You mentioned, I don't know if you meant to say it, but that the youth could not enter into a contract because they're illegal or whatever, meaning underage.
Yeah, I don't mean
They can.
ethnic background, or that. I just meant age.
Right, but that's a misunderstanding as well.
Good point then.
A
Yeah,
12-year-old
yeah.
can enter into a contract, including a real estate contract. It just is voidable by the youth. So
Say
the
that
youth
one more.
has-
Say that one more time.
A youth can enter into a contract, but then it's voidable by the youth. So the adult entering into a contract with the youth is taking a risk that the youth someday will say, sorry, I'm voiding it. And they don't have to have a reason other than I was a minor when I signed it. And they can void it after they're a minor. So somebody who's 17 years old, 11 months, and 360, no, how many days?
64.
351 days,
Well-
and they sign a contract, so they're just 1 day short. I don't know if I did those days.
I don't
right.
understand that.
No.
I bought, you know what? I bought my first house at 17. I had to get my father to help me with the contracts.
That's because the adult doing it didn't want you to have the power to void it. They wanted somebody on the hook. So I'm not saying a lot of people will enter.
So
into,
one
but you
step
have-
back. So an institution like a bank won't let that happen
no,
because
just because it's
Right.
voidable.
because it's voidable.
Because it's voidable.
There you go.
Okay.
So it's a non.
Well, no, because there's other contracts out there. How many times have you hired somebody to mow your lawn or something like that, and you agree with them? I'll pay you $20 or whatever, and
So a verbal
and
contract, a handshake.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
So-
they go mow the lawn, and they
You don't like it, you
out.
give them $2 and a bubble gum.
I'll
No,
tell
no,
you
it's
what,
the
this
opposite.
Have
this
you done that
this
before?
blows that
Yes.
movie Liar Liar. See the movie Liar Liar?
I have
Yeah.
not.
Blows the whole movie for me now. If you've seen it, you'd know why.
I can't remember it.
I'm not going to go into it, but it just ruined it.
Don't tell them.
Thanks. Sorry,
We'll have to
Jim
watch it
Carrey.
tonight.
They all die at the end.
Because they're underage.
Because they're
Yes.
underage, that's right.
All right, now here we now want to take it back to the National Association
Yes.
of
Hispanic Real Estate Professionals.
Real estate professionals.
NARUP, yes.
And say, all right, we've got all kinds of challenges
Absolutely.
with particular to the Hispanic market
Right.
that really don't impact other markets as much as it does or as much as those issues do impact the Hispanic market. So then what do you do about it?
What do? You empower the professionals that work within the communities.
But you got to get past that word empower, because that's a buzzword. But tell me in practical, step by step, what do you then do? How do you empower them then?
How do you empower them? That's very easy for me to tell you.
Okay.
First, through education, through being able to understand that particular niche and that particular market. Number two is leadership. Putting leaders within the real estate community that are going to serve ethically and with integrity, that are going to be able to pass on the message that homeownership is still alive. We also do it through community involvement, like all the different events. We do the run. We did a charity gala where we actually donated money. We had like a dance-off. It was like Dancing with the Stars, and the winner actually donated the money to charity. And more than anything,
It wasn't Tom, was it?
He was not. He didn't even participate.
I tried to. They wouldn't let me even try to.
He's a good dancer,
Is
too.
he?
Ballroom.
Is he going to dance tonight?
Ballroom.
I'm going to dance tonight before we leave. Absolutely.
I got to go.
And through advocacy, we do. I just came back from Washington, D.C. There's a conference there that we do in March. Through advocacy, we're positioning the right individuals so that they continue to fight for the dream of sustainable homeownership.
Do you get involved in politics at all?
Absolutely. There's a 7-point plan that they just created, and that came out of D.C. We did a lot of Hill visits. We sat with lots of governors, lots of senators. We basically are making sure that our voice is being heard, because we want to stop all of this that's happening, and we want to continue to grow the dream of homeownership. That's el sueño americano, the American dream. That's to buy a home, and we don't ever want that to die.
So what types of things, because I'm very interested in politics, and what types of things do you think the government should do?
Personally?
Yeah, because you might get a little debate on your hands, but if you don't mind the debate.
Well, there's a few things. For example, they're talking about the QRM and increasing the down payment for first-time home buyers to 20% versus what it is right now in FHA. If that were to happen, I think it would create a bigger issue in being able to get families into homes. For me, one of the biggest or most prideful moments is being able to help a very young, I just helped a young family. Actually, she was moving in, her parents were moving in with her, and she was only 19, and she's buying her very first home. They were paying $1,000 mortgage, and now they're only going to pay $780 on rent. They were paying $1,000 rent. Now she's only going to pay $780 for a home.
And did she actually get money from the government?
No, she did a FHA typical.
Okay.
But if they've increased the down payment to 20%, she would not be able to do that. There are great programs.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm with you. So just getting FHA to keep the 3.5%, 3.5%, right?
3.5%, right.
Down payment instead of requiring the 20%.
Exactly,
down
because
payment.
you might see it as, yes, it's less risk for us. We will avoid the whole foreclosure thing happening again because there's more money. You
But
got
how
more
about
skin in
this?
the game.
Yeah, let's talk this way. Isn't there a temptation, if a person is required to put less money down, isn't there a temptation to overbuy and buy something more than you need? A house that's got a bigger mortgage than you otherwise would have?
Not if we start implementing things that we do, which is education, and that is putting people that are trying to buy a home through first-time home buyer counseling program, like some of the NSPs that they currently offer. If we have them know what that's going to be about, have them learn about budgets, have them learn about expenses, I don't see that happening. Back when all of this happened, it was because basically you just would, as long as you had a Social Security and said you worked, you were getting $500,000 loan. And those are the things that we're trying to avoid. And it's through that. It's through being able to teach someone the ability to buy a home and what it takes, what it's going to take, the maintenance, everything that's part of it. So those are some of the things that we support.
Okay.
Can we answer Candy?
Sure.
Candy R from Superior's question?
Absolutely. So we had a phone call.
Candy R said, how to get involved with that?
How do I get involved in? So how does somebody?
The organization.
So she, as a realtor or as a homeowner?
With the organization
With
that we were doing the interviews from.
So let's talk about both of those.
Okay.
First of all, how do you get involved then as a professional, and then how do you get involved if you're just wanting to buy a house?
Okay, so if you want to get involved as a professional, you can go to our website, which is nahrep-az.org. winsor.com. On there, you'll be able to see what we're all about, basically our mission statement. You'll be able to see the events, which will include community events as well as the events that we currently do. For example, in July 21st at the Phoenician, we are doing our yearly conference. What this is it's a whole day of breakout sessions that will help you grow your business, stay on abreast of what's happening with
who should go to that? Just the realtors and lenders or general public?
Last year, for this one, it is realtors and real estate professionals, anybody who's in the industry, home warranty companies, title companies. Last year, we had almost 800 people attend.
Wow.
As a member, and membership only costs $149 a year.
For a real estate professional.
For a real estate professional. But as a member, this conference is free to you. I typically go to conferences maybe 3 to 4 times a year, and I pay $500 for my conference plus all my traveling expenses. So it does get to be expensive. This is going to be here in Phoenix, July 21st, Phoenician, and as a member, it's free. So we're working on all the breakout sessions. We'll have several CE classes. We'll have excellent guest speakers that are traveling from out of states.
Yeah,
Newsflash, KQCK.
Yeah, there's something that's even more exciting about
us.
that.
Oh, yes, that's
Tom and Mark,
true.
the Tom and Mark show. Or was it the Mark and Tom show?
We didn't have you last year, but this year.
He's changing the name
I'm
of
changing
the
name
show.
already. The Tom and Mark show. I think it sounds
that?
better.
He's going to say Veronica and Tom show.
That's right.
Veronica and Tom show.
She's taking over.
With guest
Look at that.
appearance
You're
by
out of
Mark
here.
Windsor.
See ya.
Thanks, Mark,
Bye.
for being here.
So yeah, we're gonna be actually there doing a remote feed.
Yes.
Gray, the president of your
Yes.
organization, invited. I'm not sure what why she's doing this or whatever. I guess she liked us or something, but because of you. Because of Mark, she invited
I
us.
heard great things.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a live feed. We're honored and I think we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. So we're looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, we're shooting for over 1,000 people, and we do have people that come out of other chapters nationwide, and they come and attend our event. So that's number one. If you're looking to get involved within the community and you're not a real estate professional, I mean, we have people that sell mattresses and are members. You don't have to be. It just depends. The big thing about NARUP AZ is the fact that you get to network with other individuals. So that's a huge part. We do social
like insurance
events.
agents.
Absolutely.
So any professional out there that has any connection with homes or realtors or lenders, you're a real estate professional.
Absolutely. But we also, because we do a lot of community involvement events, we definitely go to our website, send us an email. You'll see info@narup-az.com. We'll help you get involved within the community and the things that we're doing out there, too.
All right. Now, Veronica, let's do a little plug for you. If somebody wants to use you as a real estate professional, how do they get a hold of you?
You can go to my website, which is sueñorealty.com, and you can also find me on the
Wait,
NARUP.
wait, wait.
What was the word again?
I'm going to
Oh,
say
sorry.
And what does that mean? Does that mean
you have got to
Swinger Realty?
Sueño. I like that.
Sueño.
You've got to
Sueño.
spell that one for
It
people.
means dream. It's SUENO realty.com.
In what language?
En
just totally
español.
She thought we were on
Korean.
1190.
That's Korean.
You know,
And
Rafa,
actually, that's my old website you're going to see. My new revamp one is coming up next week. It's awesome. I can't wait to
Awesome
show it.
website coming
Yes.
up.
So please do go on our website. You'll be able to find out, search the MLS, get involved, contact me. We also do a lot of charity events within my company. It's just something about giving back. I read this book called The Go-Giver, which I think any business professional needs to read. It really will change your perception of what business is really all about. And ever since I became involved with organizations such as NARUP AZ, just the whole passion just came back to what I'm doing, and it's something that just really fills my heart. So
You mentioned Toastmasters earlier.
Yes.
Why? I mean, look at you. You're eloquent.
Yes,
you
you've been
speak
a
very
great-
well.
great
You're not
guest.
sweating like Jeff. What's his name that was over here before? I know. He's probably listening. I am making fun of him. I told him he's got to sign a release if he comes back. But if he passes out from an aneurysm, he's not going to sue Joe over
how
here.
funny.
Oh, thanks.
Holy moly.
Please and thank you.
But so Toastmasters. Tell us about that because I know it's part of WeMar or the Young
Yes.
Professionals. Why
Yeah.
can't?
By the way, Santan Valley has a Toastmasters chapter.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
There are chapters throughout. They're all over the world, and actually, that's what got me started in in leadership. I was very scared to talk in front of people, and I was one of the things that I wanted to cry before I started saying something, and that was 3 years ago. And that organization,
3 years ago.
I've seen her get up in front of thousands of people, maybe
And it's
50 or 60.
exciting
Yeah,
now.
and she gets up there and she's just she's perfect.
yeah, right.
Perfect.
Toastmasters
I gave
is
him
an amazing
$20
organization.
underneath the table. So Toastmasters is actually what got me involved. We're creating for NARUP AZ. We're creating something called VOS, and what that is, it's going to be a communication and leadership track to help our members grow their communication and leadership skills. So that'll be ready to go by the conference in July. You'll be able to join. We're going to have weekly mentoring mastermind groups. They're going to help you so that you're able to talk and be part of this wonderful radio show maybe one day. right?
Awesome. You know, I did Toastmasters in high school.
Did you? My kids do Toastmasters.
Yeah, it was fun. No
they
kidding.
Do, yeah.
Good for you.
It's fun. It is a great organization to be part of.
I have never done it.
Well, you don't need it.
Do the sourdough chapter. No, it really is a great organization. I'm only kidding.
And we don't toast any bread or anything like that because that's like the number one question we get. We're just leadership and communication. That's what it's all
Mark
about.
didn't know what Mensa was either.
Do you know what Mensa is?
I don't.
Oh, right.
What?
That's
Come on.
That's Sarah talking.
What is that?
Nobody knows.
You don't
but
want to
these
know
guys
what
do.
we said it was last. It's yeah. You don't want to know.
It's a smart person's
That's
group.
all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Only smart
You don't
people
wanna
know
be
what it is.
We're not. You know what? It's funny. I don't even know what it is anymore.
You don't?
No,
You
I really don't.
forgot.
I think Tom's been lying to me.
I made it up. I did.
Tom doesn't lie.
I don't.
He doesn't.
Thanks,
Tom?
All right, we need to wrap it up. We only
Oh,
have a couple
wow.
more
That
minutes.
was fast.
A couple of things we want everyone to know. Every Tuesday, 5 o'clock, join us. There's some unique things about our show. I was again listening to talk radio. I'm starting to enjoy it again. And they put so many commercials in other talk shows. And here we just have the ones we're going to play for you in a minute. We do encourage you to support our sponsors. We don't play a lot of their commercials, so when we do, we hope you support them. That's what keeps our show going. And then also, you're able to watch us. I mean, that's another very interesting thing about how we do this. And our reach. You know, I was talking to somebody again, Joe, today, who was wondering if I was on one of those little rink-a-dink AM stations. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I was for a while, but I moved over because our reach is so much greater.
We've had people from Yuma call in the other day for actually the Home Expo. Somebody from Prescott call in.
Oh, California.
Yeah, in California. Actually
really?
for the expo. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And for some of our shows all over the United States, we'll get calls. In fact, we've done shows where we didn't get any calls from Arizona. All the calls were from outside.
Right.
Really?
We got a call from Michigan when we had Jordy, the singer here. Remember, we had a call from Michigan and New York.
And
Somebody
Hawaii.
called from New York.
And Hawaii.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
right. Yes. How cool is
That's
that?
incredible.
Very cool.
Congratulations.
Very cool. So join us. It's a great show. We try to have guests that are very interesting. Tonight we succeeded in that. You've been wonderful. And I think that expo, we'll play more of those clips during either future shows or have Joe play them throughout the week occasionally. There's some great clips there.
We never answered James's. James from Mesa wanted to know, is there a fee for regular people to go in if they're not in the, you may have answered already, in the real estate genre, which is about everything, but...
Yeah, the membership is always $149, and the reason it is because you'll get into all events for free, and we take great pride in that. We'll help you get involved with leadership. We'll help you get involved with the community. We'll help you meet other professionals. Leadership that is really making a difference here in the state of Arizona. So that's what it currently
A very
is.
cheap price for a great group.
Absolutely.
It is.
All right. Very good. Thank you again for joining us. This is Mark Winsor.
And Tom Diller. Good seeing everybody.
With our guest.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, you're supposed
No,
to
it's
say
your
name.
name, Veronica.
My name is Veronica Barragan.
You were watching all the pointing, you see.
know.
You're supposed
And
to follow
you guys,
suit.
the cameras stay on afterwards, so even though we may get off the air, Veronica's going to be doing karaoke and dancing in just about
Nice.
10
That is
seconds.
true.
He says
Exactly.
that.
I signed the contract.
She signed the contract.
He says that, but we've got another show starting about 15 minutes.
Oh,
That'd be some
darn
short
it.
songs. But we have no problem with you doing some short songs. And then, Joe, I always appreciate you as the producer making this happen.
We love you, Joe.
And
Thank you.
And your new lights. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
God bless.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Thanks for joining us.
Wow. Edible arrangements. Beautiful, delicious, and delivered right to your door. You won't believe your eyes when you feast upon these beautiful edible gifts.
Located in Queen Creek on Combs and Ganzel in the Fry's Shopping Center, Edible Arrangements is the leading purveyor of delicious, high-quality, artistically designed fresh fruit arrangements that are a practical and healthy gift, perfect for every occasion. They feature a wide variety